I wanted to include this task pretty early on because a lot of people find it scary to solve problems if there is mathematics involved. But I think we can do it, especially if we do it in a structured way and let Polya's problem solving technique guide us. We have these 4 steps, so I think if we follow those, we will be able to solve this task. So let's take a look. What are we supposed to do? All right, we're going to start with see if we understand all the words used in the problem here. And I think if we read it, there is one thing that sticks out, and it's the compound interest. If we're not sure about what it is, luckily for us, there is a link down here where we can go and read more about it. There are some examples that we can look at. But even if we didn't have this bit down here where there is a convenient link, when we see this and if we are wondering, oh, I'm not sure about this, what we can do is that we can go to Google, for example, or to DuckDuckGo and search for it and see if we can learn more about it. And when we have done that, either by checking the link or searching for it, and we have a little bit of a better understanding of it, I think we can figure out what we need to do here. But what is it that we are asked to find here? So let's have a look. If we take a look, it says here that we had a discussion with our friend and we were putting money on an account and we didn't touch it for 20 years. So that's the background story. But what we are actually asked to do is to calculate how much money one would end up with. So let's see if we can mark it here. There we go. So this is what we are asked to do. And can we reformulate it? I think we can do. We can say that, all right, if I put this money away, how much money would I end up with? Or how much money would I have after 20 years? So that's what we're going to try to find out. And we can come up with a picture. Maybe we can draw a diagram in Excel or something. But is there enough information to solve it? Oh, yes, let's change the color here so we can mark something. Yeah, I think there is. There is this scary part here with the formula. And we see here that, right, what do they mean? Future value, that is how much money we're going to end up with. Present value, or the starting value, that is how much money we have today. And we know that because we have 20,000, right? And then there is an R and an N. What is the R? The interest as a decimal value. We have the interest here. It tells us that the interest is 5%, but as a decimal value, what does that mean? Well, 5% as a decimal value would be equal to 0.05. So that is what we're looking for instead. So that's what we're going to plug in here in our formula. But what about the n, the number of years? Do we know that? Yes, it says so here. The 20 years. So if we take a look at the formula here, we're going to put 20,000 here. We are going to multiply that with something that we calculate as 1.r. And we decided that r was 0.05. So this here is 1.05. 1.05 is going to be raised to the power of, what was n? It was 20, so it's raised to the power of 20. When we have calculated that, we multiply it with 20,000. All right, so we have figured out what we are supposed to do and that we have enough information to do it. Now it's time for us to devise a plan. And I'm going to do as I've done before, that I am going to draw a flow chart. that we then can use when we're implementing our script. And I start by adding the start and the end, so I know that I have those available here. And then we're going to see, all right, my script, what do I need to do? All right, so we are going to calculate something, but to calculate it, we need to have these values, these 3 values. So I'm going to start by adding one of them. I'm going to call it declare the present value as equal to 20,000. And I'm going to keep the same representation as we have here with these abbreviations. What do we need to do after that? We have 2 more to declare, so I'm going to add 2 more here. Oh, the years was not years, it was, let me check here, it was N, and N is 20. We're looking at 20 years. And the last one, that is R, which we said is 5%, but as a decimal number, it's 0.05. Next, we are gonna calculate how much money we're gonna end up with. Calculate, and let's say future value, and we are going to use the formula FV. We have the formula, so let's add it here so that we see it when we're going to implement it later. 1 plus R, and then here we must say raised to the power of N, and we could do that in 2 different ways. I'm going to do it this way, and we're going to see later why I choose to do this. When we're implementing it, we're going to see why I chose this. And the reason is that in Python, this is how you raise something to the power of N. So yeah, so that we can use it straight away when we get into the implementation. And I'm going to add arrows for my flowchart here. And now that I am finished, I go back and I check to see if, all right, this flowchart that I have here, does it correspond to solving this task here? We have these 3 values that we need. We have declared those. Then we're going to calculate how much money we would end up with. We do that here. And yes, there is one thing that is not mentioned here, but that we might want to add, even if it's not stated in the problem. And that is that we probably want to print it so that we can see if we managed to actually calculate it correctly. So I'm going to add this in here. Oops, a little bit running out of space here. So I'm going to add display future value. So we saw there that, all right, we do need to add 1 step so that we can see the result, even if it wasn't mentioned in the text. Okay, I think we're pretty satisfied with this now. We can go back and check that we have everything again. And now that we have completed the 2 first steps, we are finished with the analysis. The next is the implementation, where we will take a look at the two last steps here.